So in the Derek Chauvin trial, a verdict has been reached. Guilty. And there are so many different perspectives. I want to just talk a little bit about mine. I think goes without saying that it's sad that George Floyd lost his life, that he was taken away from his family in the manner in which he was. And when a verdict is reached as guilty, and many black and brown Americans are on the edge of their seats wondering if this will actually happen, I think that says a lot about where we are as a society. The fact that we're wondering if justice will be done says a lot about where we are as a society. And I know that, the internet is not the place for nuance. The internet's not the place for wrestling with gray areas. It's a very polarizing place. All you got to do is read the comments underneath this video. There's not much room for wrestling. It's either you believe this or you believe that. But the truth of the matter is there's so much nuance involved in what's going on in our society and in our world. I remember going to Europe and being in Paris and not being able to understand the language, not being able to communicate with people, just wanting to eat a good meal. And instead of finding an amazing gourmet meal, I opted for fast food because it was American and it was easy. I just reverted to what made sense to me. Instead of wrestling with the nuance, wrestling with the language and the complexities to fully understand what I was dealing with and come out on the other side with something meaningful, something powerful, something transformative, I opted for what I knew. I think that's what many of us do. We're in a society, we're in an America that is far from perfect as it pertains to justice. There are still black and brown Americans to this day who are in fear that they could be the next George Floyd, who are in fear that justice will not prevail in their circumstances and situations. And see, when we're talking about justice, justice in America is really retributive. Now, I'm a man of faith, and as a man of faith, I believe in restorative justice. America's one of the few places in the world that really uses retributive justice, punitive, punish you for what you've done wrong. See, I'm not happy that Derek Chauvin is guilty. I'm relieved. I'm not overjoyed. This is not a celebratory moment. This is not like the beginning of change. This is the evidence of how painful things are in our society, how wrong and broken our system is, that we're sitting around hoping that justice will happen. Punitive justice wants punishment, just suffering for what's been done. As a man of faith, I want restorative justice. I want to see things that are broken fixed. I want not just for every person who has wronged me or wronged innocent victims to just suffer. I want restorative justice. I want the system to be fixed so that we don't have to have these situations occur again and again. I want the system to be fixed so that I'm not just sitting around hoping that people will be found guilty for manslaughter or murder or brutality. I want to believe that this can be thwarted, prevented, because the system has been addressed. And listen, I make no slight of how complicated it all is. Not this particular case, but how complicated our system is in America. I know that it is not as simple as do this and do that and everything's great. But I would hope that we would wrestle with the complexity of what we're living in. I'd hope that we'd understand the history of policing in America. I'd hope that we'd understand that this is not happenstance, that this is not the product of just a mistake, that this is the evidence of a system that is broken. And so, yes, I'm glad justice has taken place. But no, this is not the beginning of something brand new and we're on our way. This is a moment that we're grateful for. But we still have so far to go, so much work to do. I'm gonna leave y'all with a quote from my good friend Esau McCauley. He said something that I really appreciated. He says, happy's the wrong word when a life has been lost. Juries can't raise the dead. One court case can't eradicate the distrust that lingers in the hearts of many Black and brown Americans. A single decision is important, but it can't fix a system. There's still work to do. Mr. Floyd's family may have some measure of peace, but he was taken from them nonetheless. I'll say this, I know that people are going to want to bring up, the history of George Floyd, and some people are going to want to bring up the fact that he may have had drugs in his system at the time he died. And I want you to understand something. Those factors, those things only add to the nuance and the complexity, but don't justify the murder that took place. Oftentimes we don't ask why. We don't ask why people are in the circumstances that they're in. We just demand that they function in the way that we think they should. I think we got to start asking why a lot more often. God bless y'all, man. Let's wrestle. What's going on, y'all? Thank you for checking out my channel. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and ring the bell for the notifications. Also, check me out on social media. Name is spelled LECRAE. God bless y'all.